Good morning, Ethos family. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to Ethos. I'd like to ask everybody, if you can, come as close forward so we can get really cozy. We like to have everybody sitting together and enjoying one another's fellowship, community. So glad you're all here. Happy to see you. I'll get introduced to some new people after, right? I see a couple new faces. It's awesome. So we'd like to invite you into being. Just being. To be yourself. Not have to put on any masks, not pretend, just be you. We'd like to invite you into belonging. Ethos is a community of safety, of welcoming you, of having you feel like you're a part of a loving community. So we ask you to just settle in and feel welcome to belong. And then to become the best version of ourselves. To become the best version of ourselves. We invite you into those. This morning, we get to hear from Betty. I'm so excited. She says she has a Michael Bublé song at the end. I love that guy, so I can't wait to hear that. It's going to be good. So with that, we'll let Betty take over.
Keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am, because I need to know. Oh, you say I am loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I think I am weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I am yours. And I believe. I believe what you say of me. The only thing that matters now is everything
this next song, if I cry, I apologize in advance. It touches me greatly. We've sung it a few times before, but to me, this is an ultimate prayer between my Maker and me, and it plays on the lowest of times that I've had in my life when I'm in my head, which are even stronger voices than outside voices. But this prayer means everything to me, so I hope it touches you even a little as much as it touches me.
Unreserved, unrestrained, your love is wild. Your love is wild for me. It isn't shy, it's unashamed. Your love is proud to be seen with me. To be seen with me. 'Cause you don't give your heart in pieces. And you don't hide yourself to tease us. Uncontrolled, uncontained, your love is a fire burning bright for me. It's not a spark, it's just a flame. Your love is a light, and all the world will see. And all the world will see. Oh. 'Cause you don't give your heart in pieces. And you don't hide yourself to tease us. You don't give your heart in pieces. And you don't hide yourself to tease us. Your love's not fractured, it's not a troubled mind. It isn't anxious, it's not the restless kind. Your love's not passive, it's never disengaged. It's always present, it hangs on every word we say. Love keeps its promises, it keeps its word, it honors what's sacred, 'cause its vows are good. Your love's not broken, it's not insecure. Your love's not selfish, your love is pure. You don't give pieces. And you don't hide yourself to Jesus. Thank you, guys.
How's everybody doing? We good? We alive? Good. Betty, that was powerful. That last song, you hit some notes. I thought, ooh, is she gonna hit those? And you nailed them. You nailed them. Oh, Ty, you're alive. We made it. I want to recognize some friends here. I just am so glad you guys are here. They came all the way from Arizona just for this today. I'm kidding. They came for a really good concert actually happening on Monday, but they decided to stop in, and they're beautiful, beautiful people. Pamela, Jason, you guys, I can't wait to keep talking. I feel like you're the same person as me. So anyways, it's going to be fun. And everyone else, welcome. It's so good to see you. I never know how many people will be here from week to week, so it's kind of a mystery and kind of fun. Sometimes we're packed out. Sometimes it's a smaller group. But either way, it's kind of exciting to be able to do this together. And so I wanted to share with you, we are a community that I love these three. Did you guys catch the words that Kim said this morning? She said 3 words, and she expanded on those words. Did you catch what the words were? I'll give you a hint. They're actually, when you walk in, you can see the words posted somewhere. 3 words. Be, belong, become. The 3 B's. Can you guys remember those? Be, belong, become. Ethos is a place where you can just be. You can be whatever it is you be. Whatever you dress like, that's you. That's you being. However you act, whatever you think, those kind of things, that's you being you, and you are welcome and affirmed and loved here. Be. Isn't that beautiful? There's none of this pretend. If you had a week and it was a terrible week, you being is okay. You admitting it's been a really, really crappy week and I don't feel like smiling. I'm not going to say those happy day, happy whatever. I'm going to say is not happy. I just want to eat, and I want to go sit down and not talk to you. Be. It's been a great week. Be. Whatever be is for you. Belong. You belong here. We're a group of people who say, whatever belief you have or not belief, whatever perspective you have of the world, whether you are an ass or an elephant, whatever it is, wherever you fall politically, all these things, you can belong here. You belong. We will share and we'll love you, and we will have conversation, and we may disagree or agree, but the point is we belong. There's safe space where we can belong. And then the last is become. All of us are in a process of becoming, and we may never actually become, will we? The minute you are done growing is when you're 6 foot under, right? So you're becoming, you're growing, you're changing, you're shifting. And so we acknowledge that we are here to become the best version of ourselves in whatever season we're in, which is a beautiful place to be and belong and become. You dig it? I got this message this morning. I'm not going to read it because I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I get these people who reach out periodically on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and it's always exciting to me. And this individual who's watching right now, hello. He said this, and I thought it was really, really neat. He said, I've definitely finding myself in that place where I'm questioning a lot of things. And I love that Ethos is a place where you are fostering a healthy community where the philosophy of creating and asking questions is accepted and loved. I thought, oh, I like that. I'm proud of that. I'm proud to belong in a place like that. And so we're moving through a book that most people would say, why would you study that book? We're studying the dreaded book of Revelation. Yeah. And we're viewing it differently. We wanted to share, again, for me, I was beaten over the head with this book. I was told this book was about future geopolitical ideas about what's going to happen in the future. I was told, okay, the Pope is evil, and then I would watch as the Pope did incredibly good things, and I was so confused. I would see all these things, and I didn't know what to do with the book. It terrified me. And so what I'm learning is whenever there's something there, that there's some baggage, there's some questions, there's some fear, I'm learning don't ignore it. Move through it. And when you move through it, you can actually find some really beautiful things there, and there's no longer fear. And so for me, I've learned to move through it, and I've actually found some really beautiful, applicable things to this book. So I'm just going to share some ideas today. We've been looking at the 7 different churches, and we've understood that this book was actually all about protest. It was about saying, I don't agree with this thing, this ideology that's going on. For them, it was Roman culture. It was Roman culture that says violence is the only way to find peace. It was a Roman culture that said the only way to get ahead is by pushing others down. When someone hurts you, you hurt them back, only worse, right? This message of Jesus is actually a huge protest against it. It says when you get hurt, turn around, recycle that hate with love. And by doing so, you gain power back. Total protest of what's going on in Rome. And so we understand this book of Revelation was about protesting a system that didn't work. Anyone feel like maybe in this culture right now that we live, there are some things that don't work for you? Anyone willing to say, this is kind of what's not working for me in the culture I'm living in? I'm brave enough.
Everyday hatred.
Hatred. Yeah, I can either like or dislike you. Remember the comments I make, right? And I'm sure if there was a hate button, people would be pushing that. There is like the anger face. The anger face. Yeah, anything else? Yep. Poverty all around us. Yeah, we can protest that.
The push for success at the expense of the person themselves.
Good.
So like I just see so many kids now with so much anxiety because they're being pushed into advancing further and further and further, and there's just no place for them to just be.
Right. So good.
They're growing too fast too.
Pushing, yeah, this idea that for me to get ahead, I have to push you down, which is causing a lot of anxiety, which means I can't actually celebrate when someone does something great. Isn't that sad? When someone does something great, all of us have this thing in the back of our minds that are thinking, crap, it's going to be that much harder to get ahead. Oh no, this person's successful. There's that thing because we have this idea that the world is filled with scarcity, not abundance, right? There's a lot of things we're protesting that we should be protesting. So today we're going to look at the last one. We've talked about Ephesus, this idea that if you want to be a part of a protest, something different, something countercultural, you have to actually find that joy in you first. Be okay with yourself. And this is where, again, Pam has decided, I'm going to start skateboarding again. Yeah, so fun, Pam. You missed it. I was bragging about you last week, how you're skateboarding in the park and all of that. Finding community, finding a safe group of people that you can connect with, you can be, belong, become. We talked about discerning truth. How do you know if this movement is good or bad, if it brings life or not? Talked about how to discern those things. That's what Thyatira and Pergamum share with us. Sardis is learning to walk it, embody it, become the thing that you're protesting. If you're protesting something and you don't actually believe it, you're not actually living it, it's not really very interesting, is it? But you have to embody it. And so Philadelphia is about how to learn to share it, how to embody it, how to become it, all of those concepts. Philadelphia is a really interesting community I want to share with you. So here we go. What kind of thoughts come up from this image right here?
It's like you're talking, but I don't understand.
You're talking at me?
I hear something, but
Usually it's, and they're yelling, and you can't understand because they're in the bullhorn. Yeah, usually what do bullhorn people who look like that screaming on corners, what are they screaming about?
Jesus.
Jesus, yeah.
End of the world.
End of the world, always. Yeah, the world's going to hell, and so are you, right? Anything else that like comes up for you when you see this picture of the bullhorn guy?
Righteousness.
What was that?
Righteousness.
Righteousness. Yeah, I am righteous. You are not.
I find it quite interesting that the bow tie, as if he's prepared himself to look in this very professional manner, but the anger
Yeah, you see so much anger, but I look professional. I dressed up. Yeah, I'm in a suit, right? That would be so funny. You walk by, I wasn't going to take you seriously, but you're wearing a suit. So your message must have something interesting.
That's polka dots and checks. It doesn't really.
Yeah, this is the hipster version of the guy in the suit. Yeah. Good. All right. Here's what I want you to do. Maybe with the person next to you, and then we'll open it up while music is being played in the background. But here's a question I want you to consider. What methods of sharing or protesting do you find positive, and which ones do you find negative? So just turn to the people around you, just say, here's some methods of sharing or protesting I think are kind of useful in our culture. Here are ones that really are not. So just turn to some people next to you, share some. You might even have an experience with a bullhorn guy, and if so, it'd be a great opportunity to share it. So go for it. I'm going to give you one more minute. All right. I'm going to bring us back together again. I heard a lot of, I like to eavesdrop when I'm up here. It's kind of fun for me. I heard one comment which I thought was really interesting. They said the word sharing and protesting, almost in our culture today, it's almost like those two things are different. And it is true. Like today, when we think of protesting, often that has a negative connotation, doesn't it? Protest looks like the bullhorn guy, whereas sharing seems like a cup of coffee sitting across from someone. Does protest have to be so negative?
No.
But yeah.
There comes time when there's civil disobedience, and we saw that.
Nice.
Some, or a lot, and maybe the last couple of years, but I'm thinking of like the Kavanaugh for Supreme Court, where women really felt they needed to be heard, and they took and they amassed themselves, at the Capitol. Some were arrested for what they did. Again, it was civil disobedience, but they did it. I still see that as a respectful manner in which they made the voice be heard.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I stand with you. We're not tearing down a bunch of stuff. We're standing in solidarity with one another. Yeah, beautiful. Protest can be positive. Sharing can also be negative. Ever have someone sit down with you and share something that just, you're like, what? Like, that was like, you just hit me, like, you just stabbed me with a knife, like, and you're smiling. Like, that's, yeah, we can have both. Let me move on. Let me tell you about this city, Philadelphia. Really interesting. Philadelphia, this is the youngest of the cities that's mentioned. Philadelphia it was founded by Attalus, and he basically named the city after his brother, meaning brotherly love. This was a city that was popular for the god Bacchus, who was the god of wine. So this is like where the party happened. What was the concert not that long ago where everyone was talking about herpes? What was that one? Coachella, yeah. So this is Coachella without the herpes. It's probably had their own thing going on. This is Coachella. This group of people in the middle of Coachella, in the middle of the party, they're suffering though. Like economically, they're suffering from some persecution. A lot of different things are going on there in Philadelphia, Coachella. This was, again, considered a missionary church, and this is what I mean by that. They were considered the gateway for the Greco-Roman culture. And so they basically would share Greco-Roman culture to the world through that city. So people would come from all over to enjoy the party. You guys get it? And then they'd share the party. They'd share all their values and ideas of Rome. They'd send those out when they were trading, right? It's kind of like New York. When you see all these people wearing New York shirts and you're thinking, where are these people from? Or do you even know where you are? You know what I mean? Like, but they're sharing the values and ideas of New York. That's Philadelphia. That's the kind of place it was. It had a tremendous amount of potential, though, for the Jesus movement. If you think about it, the Jesus movement was saying, recycle hate with love. If you want to gain power, give it away. This group of people there in the middle of Coachella, they could actually share some really beautiful truths that could be shared with the rest of the world when everybody goes home 3 or 4 days later, after the hangover, right? This is that group, and there's a tremendous amount of potential. And so I want to share with you some people who had a tremendous amount of potential. You guys ready? If you know who some of these people are, don't yell it out and spoil it for everybody yet. But I want to introduce you to Ted. Ted was considered one of the smartest kids in the 50s. Math and science, they called him a prodigy. He actually skipped the 11th grade at 15, and 16 went into Harvard with a scholarship, which is pretty incredible. 1967, he won this great award for mathematics, later becomes an assistant professor there at Berkeley, where he taught. This is Ted. Would you say Ted has a tremendous amount of potential? Like, Ted's going places, am I right? Like, Ted's the man. Ted's going places. Here's where Ted went. Ted is Ted Kaczynski. He's the Unabomber. Has anyone ever heard of the Unabomber? Yeah, Ted went somewhere, and he sent packages that went somewhere. And 3 people ended up dying, 23 injured, sent these to universities. That's Ted. Ted had tremendous potential and somehow ended up, through life and decisions, different choices, he's become the Unabomber. Anyone familiar with football? When I say the name Tom Brady, do y'all know him? If I say Peyton Manning, well, this guy was actually chosen in the draft above Brady and so many others because he was going to be the next quarterback. Like, this guy was going places. He was so good, is what they said. Second pick in the draft overall, he went to San Diego Chargers. They had high hopes for Ryan Leaf. Most commentators, again, said he's going to be the next Joe Montana. This dude is that good. He had an arm. Here's where Ryan Leaf ended up not that long ago. Got involved with a lot of drugs. And before you know it, he's put on 10 years probation. And then just not that long ago, he broke his probation. He broke into someone's house. He tried stealing prescription drugs. How does someone with that much potential, chosen second in the draft, how does someone with that kind of potential end up there? Ryan Leaf. Anyone know who this guy is? Chris Brown. If you can remember before the incident, Chris Brown was just every award that could possibly be won, Chris Brown won it. If you Google all the awards he won, it's insane. You're like, what didn't the dude win? He was so famous everywhere you go. One guy says, his music is everywhere. I believe Brown is the next voice for Black America. That's the expectations, the potential he had. And he was dating Rihanna. Like, you made it. Right? Like Chris Brown, you made it. You're dating Rihanna. You made it. That's Chris Brown. Potential. February 8, 2009, beat his girlfriend Rihanna, leaving these, again, you saw the pictures, many of you, the bruises, the battered woman that she looked like in that picture. And again, he became kind of this troublemaker. From 2011 all the way through, even today, you hear these different stories still about Chris Brown. Again, 2014, he was in jail for 108 days, a good part of a year. He went from this to this. How does someone with that much potential steer it in that direction? Anyone recognize her? Anyone see the movie Mean Girls? Can anyone actually name the movie that she was in that young? Does anyone know that movie? Parent Trap. Nice. Yeah. I'm with good people. Parent Trap. She was like the voice of Disney, the face of Disney for a while. She was the actress that we all told our little girls, hey, Lindsay Lohan. She was not a mean girl. She's a good girl. Lindsay Lohan was so famous for such a long time. And then 2017, we were all kind of like, wait, what? She was in trouble for possession of drugs. She kept moving down this weird lifestyle where we'd hear like she stole clothing at a clothing store. And we're like, wait, you have so much more. Why are you stealing clothing? What are you doing? She moved down this life. And so many of us were just thinking, wait, what? Like the potential, right? The potential. Anyone know who this guy is? Tony Robbins. I wish I had his smile. I feel like I'm a dude and I melt. Like I can't, like women have no chance. Yeah, he's super tall. He's got just enough stubble, just enough gray. I hate you, Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins. This is Tony Robbins. He says he has some interesting ideas we're going to come back to later on, but he has some ideas of why people with so much potential sometimes move in that direction. I'm going to share with you his reasons, and then later on we're going to look at some concepts by using the ideas of Philadelphia and then how to move through those to find our potential. So here's some things he says. People who fail oftentimes don't do things in alignment with their goals. You have all these great aspirations, these goals, and you know these people, because they'll even talk about their vision board, and then you're like, wait, but you're doing what? That doesn't line up with the person you keep saying you want to be or the goals that you keep setting. Another thing he says is they don't step up to the plate. When they finally have the opportunity, they'll shy away. They'll hold back. They'll push back. Self-imposed limitations. How many of you are as good as me as talking yourself down? Well, I'll never be this. Or, I'm pretty good except for this and this. I have the self-limitations, he says, is another reason people fail. Another one, we're great at making excuses, aren't we? Anyone with me on that one? We're like really good at this. Excuses. They procrastinate. I'm so thankful that's not me. I get everything done on time I need to. Yeah. And the last one, he says, they just don't take action. All talk, no walk. I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to and then they don't actually follow through on any of it. Those are great ways. If you want to fail, follow that formula to a T. And so again, people with potential, when they don't meet it, oftentimes one of 6 of these things, or maybe all, and maybe there's more too, but that's his list. And if you're as good looking as Tony Robbins, you're that smart, okay. I'm just messing around. But he's got some good concepts there that I like. Philadelphia was the city with a lot of potential. And so Philadelphia, there's an interesting message that John shares about this community, which I wanted to share with you, which I find really helpful. He says, this is the message to the one who is holy and true, the one who has the key of David. What he opens, no one can close. What he closes, no one can open. Again, this sounds like a weird riddle book. No one is reading this for like meditation and devotions in the morning, I'm fairly sure. Am I right with that? Most of you, when I read that, you thought, okay, right? What does that have to do with anything? In fact, is it literal or metaphor? Well, I'll answer. It's metaphor, right? This is metaphor. That's what apocalyptic literature was. It's metaphor, not to be taken literally, unless you're going to say there's an actual door that's opening or closing, these kind of things. This is a metaphor. So there's these keys. What he opens, no one can close. What he closes, no one can open. The idea here is something deeper. When we learn to begin to live those values, when we begin to live that protest, when we embody it, we actually become the thing and doors open. How many of you have ever said, I'm no longer going to be at that job. I'm no longer going to do that thing. I no longer fit in that community. And all of a sudden, doors start opening. You took a step. Yeah, I've got some thumbs up, some shaking heads. You did it. You stepped. You did the thing. You moved. And all of a sudden, doors start to open. And I love this about that community. When you start to live, embody the Jesus movement, the message, doors start to open. There's huge potential there. It goes on. I know all the things you do. Again, this could sound really creepy, right? If the divine is some middle-aged white guy with white hair, and Tony Robbins with long blonde hair, if that's God and he's up there taking down notes and writing down good and wrong and almost Santa Claus-like, that's a little creepy. I know the things you do. I'm watching you, right? It's a little creepy. I've opened a door for you that no one can close. You have little strength that you obeyed my word and did not deny me. It could sound a little weird, but again, this is metaphor, right? There's some beautiful truth here. What I like about this is, do you see any judgment in this? For the other churches, there were some. So other communities, he was like, get your crap together. Do this and do that. You're missing the point. This one, it's almost like a friend coming along and saying, we're going to get through. There's some possibilities open. I know you feel like you're just on your last leg. It's just, I get it. I get it. Anyone with me like those voices? This is one of my favorite quotes from Mother Teresa. If you judge people, you have no time to love them. I'm learning that when I come at someone with judgment, surprisingly, they don't typically listen to what I have to say. But if I come at them with love and acceptance, affirmation, belonging, that's when positive conversations begin to happen. If it's just judgment, if that's all I'm feeling from the conversation, then we're not going to get off to a great start, are we? But if I come at it, and I could have some judgment, I could have some discerning going on, but if I'm not doing it with love, my intention is of love, my thing behind it, I'm probably missing the point. It's not going to be well received. I love that about this message from John. Another thing, I'll make those who are the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews, though they are not, but are liars. I'll make them come and fall down at your feet and acknowledge that I've loved you. How great would that be as if everyone who disagreed with you or did you wrong, the message was, just wait, they're going to bow before you. All right, how's that boss looking now that did you wrong? That guy on Facebook that won't leave you alone, trolling. Well, Jesus said you're going to literally bow before my feet. Is this literal? Well, no, it's metaphor. The idea of bowing is an acknowledgement. So think about this. Those people, again, this is not literal synagogue of Satan. The idea here is the people who have said, no, no, no. The way to bring healing to the world is by destroying it first. It's the Thanos, right? The way to find peace is to destroy your enemies brutally, right? Violence for violence, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That's the way to truth. The idea here is at some point in time, these people will acknowledge that didn't quite work, did it? That response to the world did not quite work. They'll acknowledge it. They'll acknowledge you. Anyone ever have these moments? The Sheldon Cooper moments? Does anyone watch Big Bang Theory, by the way? So funny. These moments where you just want to say, I told you so. I told you so. So tempting. I told you so is actually far heavier when I lived it so. When you're living it in such a way that it's obvious, you don't even have to say it. I told you so. It's just obvious. People will say, oh, got it. I'm learning that. Is anyone else really terrible at, like, you should live it, but instead you're saying, I told you so? Anyone ever tempted on Facebook to be like, They should have a button. Tell me more. How'd that go? Yeah, good. Since you've kept my command to endure patiently, I'll also keep you from the hour of trial that is going to come on the whole world to test the inhabitants of the earth. Okay, anyone excited about this one? Again, no wonder people don't want to read this book, right? How did that land for some of you to read that? We have a lot of people who, Adventist, post-Adventist, or some other connection to that. I've had a person online say they're part of a Church of God for a while. They've left, whatever. Baptists, Kirk Cameron kind of theology, rapture stuff. How does this land for you when you read this in the back? Okay, interesting. And I like that Pam started with an application. Did you notice that? She said, well, this is what it does for me personally in my journey. Yeah, that's interesting. Anyone else get like some Kirk Cameron moments or whatever? Yeah?
It just strikes me that could be interpreted so many
ways, yeah.
Whatever your end goal is, either in organized religion, control, power over people, you can twist that so many different ways to mean whatever you want.
You can make this thing say just about whatever you think you want it to say. Some people who like desperately need the world to end with fire, this is like something they like. Or end in however it burns, whatever the thing is. This is a book of metaphor, and I'll say it again. I'm going to keep saying it. This was not to be taken literally for us 2,000 years ago looking for a time of trial. Because here's the truth. How many of us are living in times of trial periodically? Can I just share with you, just last night, I may or may not have, during making potatoes last night, put too many down the drain and clogged it. I may or may not have been the guy that called the plumber and asked him how I should fix it. I may or may not have been the guy that was manually putting a snake down and turning it and then realized there's like power drills that you can do that with. Did that, still haven't done it. May or may not be the guy that still has a kitchen that's packed with dirty stuff because we couldn't fix it. I feel like my trial is still going on. We have these moments, don't we? The guy actually told me, the plumber said, well, are you comfortable getting on the roof? Like, the roof? Like, why do I need the roof? I'm doing plumbing. This is like down. But anyways, that felt good to talk about. Thank you. The hour of trial. Is this literal? What do we do with this? Well, here's the thing. Many of us grew up with this idea that at the end of the world, and by the way, I'm going to share this eschatology, and I want you to reflect back with me on kind of things you're hearing. This could be very easily taken in a negative way, Yep. So here we go. So this was the eschatology I was told. The hour of trial, there's going to be some hour of trial at the end of the world in which a certain group of people are going to be tempted. They're going to be trialed. And if you believe correctly, and again, it's interesting because if you're a Baptist, you believe this, and you think this is the belief, and you're the people. If you're another group of people, you think, well, our beliefs are going to save us. We're this group. Isn't it interesting that every group thinks it's them? And isn't it interesting that every group thinks those are not them? Okay, so let's establish that first. So I was told that my group was going to be the one that there was going to be a trial that would happen. We were all going to get through it. Some of us might die, but we're going to push through. We're going to literally run to the hills. So again, if you haven't bought like property up there, maybe start if you're taking this book literally. He was going to come again. When Jesus came again, he was going to essentially take everyone with him, and everyone here was going to be burned up at some point. After burning, everyone up there is going to be looking over literal books. And we're going to be like putting on the Santa Claus hat and deciding who's been good and who's been naughty. After that, we come back down on a literal city. It's actually a very square city. And we're going to land on the ground. And with the city, we're going to then be attacked by these people. We're going to win. Well, apparently they get Thank you. Good, yeah, thank you. They get resurrected so that they can fight us again. They're going to be destroyed. The zombie army will be destroyed. So thank you. The zombie army is destroyed. After zombie army is destroyed, we're going to give them an opportunity to sit with God and look over why they didn't make it. After we look over, zombie army has been resurrected for the third time, we look over and we decide who made it, who didn't make it. After that, you will then be burned for a short time, which is nice. Luckily, that's the last time you're burned. After that, the good people get to inhabit the earth, which is now made new, and we get to live forever. And apparently, we can fly and go to other planets and all that kind of stuff. Very interesting. So again, many of you, that wasn't your eschatology, and that's why you're looking at me like I'm crazy. Some of you that was. How did that land for you to hear that played back at you?
Delusional.
Okay, there's like some thoughts of like, oh, okay.
I don't ever remember anybody explaining it that clearly.
Okay, yeah. That was the Tony Wuerfel version. They probably didn't talk about zombies.
I never understood it growing up.
Got it.
I was just like,
Well, it's interesting. When you hear a certain thing told over and over and over again, it becomes kind of the norm. When you hear it reflected back, especially from someone from outside of your village, you hear it and you think, wait, what? Well, that does kind of sound like a zombie thing, doesn't it? It does kind of sound like and you get raised up how many times? Anyone else, by the way, have any comments? Or like, huh, that's interesting. Ryan, I feel like you've got a bunch since like the Kirk Cameron.
I think Brad Pitt starred in that movie.
Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, good.
It's very, just, in retrospect, it's very jarring to just hear these stories of such horrible, horrible things, and people are just so thrilled about it.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. I'm thrilled with the idea. Yeah. Yeah. And again, like, think about what that does to, like, the picture of the divine. It's going to raise you up to do this. I'm going to raise you up again. I'm going to, yeah, that's a little scary. And if you take this book very literally, there's only going to be about 14,000 of you who are going to make it in, which is about the size of the city of Fullerton. That's a little scary, right? Yeah.
Growing up as a kid, it was so exhausting, this story, that I literally had F-it moments. Like, I didn't want to make it.
Okay,
I
you're
will
like,
pray to the boulder. It was just exhausting. I just didn't care.
got it.
I literally checked out. It was just too much, and it made no sense to me.
Got it.
And the way that you just repeated it, I was laughing. Because
Yeah.
that's how I saw it as. And I'm like, I'm not going to believe this is how this works.
Okay. So for you, you had to say, I'm just going to leave it all. I'm just going to step away. Steve.
I think it's confusing because no matter what religion uses this, and let's face it, every religion uses some form of this story right here to their advantage, and it's always to that specific, well, not even religion, you can say personal belief or whatever. It's to make you believe that if you follow this way that we're following or that we're promoting, you're going to be part of the ones that are not burning. And that's kind of how they sell it, and you believe that, like, well, it doesn't matter because I'm going to be part of that thing that belongs to this group.
I've got
But
the
at
fire
same
insurance.
time, how can I fully believe in that when each of those religions is promoting a love factor, a forgiveness factor, a redemption factor, a saving factor, a savior came? Well, how can I believe that he came to save me when he's going to burn me?
Yeah.
So it works. It's totally confusing to the person who's explaining it and to the person who's receiving it. It just doesn't make sense altogether. None of
I
it
agree.
meshes together.
Even the idea that, like, Jesus says, all right, I came, I gave you the good stuff, heal the world, restore, do all of this. I'm going to leave, do the things I told, live the thing out. I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to destroy the world. But don't live in violence, right? Like, violence is not good. Recycle hate with love. But I'm going to do it a little differently. Because I'm God. Like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're right, it does need to jive with the whole book, and in John, Jesus is quoted as saying, I came not to judge, right? And besides, Fullerton is 144,000, I think we know a lot.
What did I say? Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you. 144,000, yeah. Good. She got that detail right. 144,000. Yeah, hopefully you're part of that group, right? Here's the thing. The hour of trial, if you take this literally, the problem is this promise is only given to one of the churches out of all 7. Imagine if you're the other 6. You're like, hey, wait, can't I be protected during the hour of trial? And if this is some future date, these people are all dead. Many of them because they didn't make it through the persecutions in the hour of trial they faced. Ouch, right? Secondly, again, this is a group of people who were facing extreme pain, brokenness, poverty. If this is a message for future prediction, then man, that's really painful. That would be like me saying to you, hey, I know you're going through a lot, but 2,000 years from now, your ancestors won't. Like, thanks for nothing. Like, great. Yeah, and then again, the word tribulation, all of this is going on during their time period. And the answer to it is it will happen for you, Philadelphia. Not some future off day. You're going to experience healing and restoration. You're going to get through the thing during your lifetime. That's kind of nice to hear, right? John even says this, I'm a partner in this tribulation because he's going through it presently. Next thing, and again, keep in mind where I came from and where some of you have come from. I am coming soon. Okay. I've watched my grandparents die and say on some of their final breaths, I was hoping I'd see Jesus come again. I was hoping Jesus would come again. How many of you heard those words over and over again? I wish Jesus would come again. He's coming again in your lifetime. Don't go to college, 1999. I remember that. 1999. Tony, don't worry about college. Jesus is coming. Man, what a brilliant mistake that would have been, right? Well, in some ways, maybe not. Soon, again, this is talking to a present day, for them, a present day people, a group of people, and the word is used soon. This is I am coming soon. Again, we're using metaphor. What thoughts are going through your mind as I'm trying to challenge you a little bit? Okay, a state of mind.
Well, the concept of time.
Okay, that's concept of time.
It was like a day, it's 1,000 years.
Right, I would always hear that. But a day is like 1,000 years.
Soon is relative.
Yeah, soon, very relative. And again, if you believe in a 6,000 year literal, creation, man, we're like 2,000 years from then. That's like, yeah, soon. I feel like he missed the mark on soon, right? Even if it is like 1,000 years, well, you missed the 1,000. So now we're hitting 2. Soon? What do we do with this? I'm coming soon. What could that mean for those people? And again, I'm not messing with your beliefs or your personal, how you think the whole thing's going to end. That's for you to decide. All I'm saying is this letter right here, for those people, soon meant soon. Soon meant soon. It did not, and it meant during their lifetime, they're going to experience a moment where they essentially get through the tribulation, the brokenness, whatever it is. And here's the beauty. I love this picture. Soon, again, if my hope is that someday something's going to happen, and I keep getting the word soon, toward the end of my life, what am I feeling? If that's all I lived for was a soon day thing to come that never came, what a great disappointment. Yeah, it's a bit disappointing. If you put all of that into, soon. However, if you found new ways in which to approach life, finding hope and meaning, and you got through various times of tribulation, like this group in Philadelphia, then you can actually apply it to a daily life, right? You can move through the seasons of pain and brokenness and trials. Soon, this was referring to a first century group of people who did, in fact, experience some really painful persecution and brokenness, but got through it soon. And that's why, again, you'll hear those people who crucified Jesus, they will see what? Yeah. Which we could get really weird about. Again, if I take that all very literally, then Jesus is going to resurrect the people that murdered him and then murder them.
But they may have been still alive at the time John is writing the book. You know?
Exactly. I love you, David. Yeah, which would make perfect sense. The people who partook in the murder of Jesus, right, are going to see this message now beginning to thrive all over the Roman Empire. How cool is that? Isn't it interesting, like, most artists aren't going to see their work become famous? Oh, geez. What a terrible thing to say in front of an artist. Except for Ty. Because his art's hanging in Ethos. But many artists, I should say many, not all, they don't always get to see their work enjoyed fully, do they? But here's the beautiful thing about this is these people, during their lifetime, they get to see the message of Jesus spread all over the world, all over the Roman Empire, which was the world to them, right?
Buy it now because it's going to go up.
That's right. Yeah, so you better buy Ty's art now. Yeah, you won't be able to afford it later. Here's another thing mentioned. The New Jerusalem, which is coming down out of heaven from my God. Again, what do you do with this? Is there a literal New Jerusalem that's going to fall and land on top of the earth? Interestingly enough, the dimensions of this New Jerusalem would be the exact dimensions of Rome. Anyone find that interesting? Again, if we're dealing with metaphor and something bigger than just like a literal... Again, I see so many connections to like Thanos and all that, don't you? But here's the thing. This new thing, this new reality, it replaces Rome. Did anyone have an aha moment? This way of living, this Jesus message, this way of living, it will replace the Roman Empire. It will replace the way things have always been done. Some of you right now, I can see it in your eyes, and you're like, wait, talk to me. This is fun. This is safe space to talk.
And the prophecy's fulfilled.
Interesting.
Replace something and try to be replaced.
Okay, good. Yeah. Why would it need to be replaced again? But if it's being replaced then, it makes sense. This thing happened and still happens. What do you think of that? American culture, some of the gross things about our culture, we hope will be replaced. And some of us are actively trying to do that, right? It happened, and it happens. Any other comments on this?
Tony, I have I was in jury duty this week, so I had to take a day off from work.
I loved your comment on Facebook, by the way.
I went
He like finds the joy in jury duty. Only David could do that.
went down there, actually kind of hoping to have that experience of being on there. Didn't get on
Pick me!
But in waiting with everybody else, a whole variety of people, young guy in a 49ers jacket, granny sitting beside me, the bailiff kept coming out like every 45 minutes saying, hold on, we'll be getting some news. I know you folks are all selected. The parties are now talking settlement, but we may be doing voir dire. We may be selecting jurors. But just hold on. Every 45 minutes, I'd have more news for you soon. So it's about 11:30. We're waiting for lunch. At this point, we've been there since 7:45. The young guy says, "Man, he keeps saying soon. How long is soon?" And the grandmother beside me says, "Hold on. By soon, he just means sit tight. He'll get us the information when he has it. You can't speed this process up. It doesn't help to be frustrated. Just hold on." And I thought, wow, what an interesting interpretation by the grandmother to the young guy about what the bailiff meant by soon. And I thought in many ways it's kind of applicable here, right? It's words of, we'll know it when we know, just be ready, be patient, hang in there for now. And I guess that's what the bailiff was kind of trying to tell us by soon.
I love it. And that's a beautiful message. I'll get to you in a second. That's a beautiful message when you're going through something, being told that you're going to get through it soon. But anyone that tells you, Thursday, you're good. Like, wait, what? Like, how does that? Tomorrow at 12 p.m., you'll feel it, you'll be good. Like, how does that work? Right? Donovan?
Yeah, I don't know. The thought for me was when I look at, like you said, my life, and I look at when I've been in a turmoil or a challenge or a difficult or trial or whatever you want to call it, and it's easy to look back on it now, but in it, it's like, gosh, when's it going to end?
It feels like an eternity.
But when I look back, I go, it was about the journey, not about the seeming result I've arrived.
Nice.
It was about the journey in between that was really what it was all about.
Perfect. It was all about the journey getting there rather than there. And then there just changes into something even bigger.
And to piggyback on that is when I am hanging in there tenaciously, being patient, and I do need rewards along the way to tell me I'm going in the right direction. I need things to line up, but that kingdom coming from heaven is for me more the idea that I am growing and being enlightened and replacing my impatience and my lack of knowledge with what is on the journey, as you were saying, what is included in the journey, and then I'm elevated and I'm very more easily patient, but also don't mess with me. If you say you're going to be there Thursday and you don't call me, you're going to be there Thursday.
You gave me the expiration date. You said Thursday was going to happen. Yeah. Good. Yeah, good. Needing it's nice to have, to reiterate, it's nice to have rewards along the way. If your whole life is moving towards someday reward and you die before the reward, what a sucky life. I don't know, like painful, yes. Well, yeah, painful. So for them it was this idea of kingdom come reality, of the kingdom replacing. The idea was we experienced Jerusalem, New Jerusalem, where Tikkun Olam happens. Tikkun Olam was the idea that we experience peace, fullness, shalom, nothing missing, nothing broken. You can live that here and now in the middle of brokenness. Even when you are feeling broken, there's always the hope that just around the corner is that new reality. And it's a season, and we move and we grow and we change, and we're going to make it to the next season. And then fall will happen again, won't it? But potential, the idea of New Jerusalem was that the potential of what this movement can be will be experienced. We'll experience it. The words of Jesus were not just some words, but they're actually meant to be actively lived out right here, right now. And when we do, we create Tikkun Olam, New Jerusalem, because we actually embody it. We become it. The potential of that's met.
I think it's kind of funny that you just brought that up because that's exactly what I was just going to comment on. All these scriptures and put a time frame.
Right.
And it's always to give you hope, right? You know, when you say soon, that means to give you hope, or you have a chance to change, right? Yeah, I have soon means, it doesn't mean, for us, I think, in our society, doesn't mean like, oh, it's gonna happen when I walk out the door. It means like, oh, within this next week, or
We'd like it to be instant.
So it gives you a time space to change yourself or to adapt to this way of thinking or to whatever. But it's funny that you said, you just commented on Jesus. Jesus says, heaven is now. So, you know, don't wait to change or don't whatever. Just start doing it now. What are you waiting for? It's here. It's now.
Yeah.
Rather than, oh, the journey that's going to get me there. I have time to change on the journey. Change now and enjoy the journey, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, start doing the things you want to do now. Like, start doing the things that bring life and fullness now. Don't wait. If we wait, we never get there. We never experience that full potential that this church had. I mean, that's where I want to go back to. Don't you love that picture, by the way? Yeah. It's just such a great picture. When I came across it, I thought, I got to have that picture somehow in my slides. Because that, to me, is like a kid reaching that potential, flying. When we actually start to do the things that we, again, know bring life, when we start to do it, we soar. There's beauty there. And so I want to go back to Tony Robbins' smile and his 6 reasons for failure. The first one, again, was they don't do things in alignment with their goals. And I find it really interesting. Anyone know, first off, do you know that there was a Walt Disney, but there was also a Roy? Anyone know who Roy was? His brother. Yeah, and often when you actually read the stories of these two, Roy played a really big part in this. He's just rarely mentioned. But Roy, he said something interesting in connection to this alignment thing. He says, it's not hard to make decisions when you know what your values are. I love that quote. Again, considering potential. If I know what my values are, if I know what the key things are that are driving me, and those are what is actually steering my decisions, I'm going to begin one step closer to reaching the potential I know that I can be, right? Beautiful. Another one, whether you hate him or love him, I don't care, because I love him. I love his game. Maybe his personal decisions, that's on him. This is Kobe Bryant. This dude, every single game, when the game was on the line, who got the ball? Kobe Bryant did. And I saw an interview with him where he said, I practice hours and hours on just that last shot. So he practices the game, everything, but he said, I would practice hours taking that last shot. He said, when the game took place and the game was on the line, I want the ball. Not because his ego is driving it, but because he knows I worked hard so I can take the shot. And when the game is on the line, I'm going to step up to the plate. I have confidence because I've practiced that one shot 1 billion times. And no wonder he made so many of those last shots, because he practiced over and over and over again. Game is on the line, I want the ball. I love that about Kobe. I want it more than the air I breathe. Come on. Whether you like Kobe or not, isn't that good? I want that ball more than the air I breathe. I want it. I need it. Our future president, making all these great political comments. Oprah, I love Oprah. She makes this comment about self-imposed limitations. You are what you are by what you believe. Or Marianne, whoever it's going to be. You are what you are by what you believe. What do you tell yourself about yourself? What do you believe about yourself? I struggle with this one a lot, because that voice comes up over and over again. You're not going to this and this and this. Whatever you allow the voice, whatever voice you allow to become the dominant voice is what you become. That narrative is what you become. I'm going to be a successful, loving husband, father, worker, whatever. If I tell myself that story rather than the other stories, I might just become the thing that I believe. It's beautiful. What are the things you've been telling yourself? This is Bill Gates. I almost said Steve Jobs. This is Bill Gates. Again, probably didn't get to where he is because he just made a lot of excuses, right? Bill Gates, if you can't make it good, at least make it look good. I like that. try. Don't just not try. Try. Do the thing. And then you won't have to say, well, you can say, oh, I gave it a whirl. I did this and this and this and this. It may have worked, it may not have, but I did everything I could potentially do. What was that? Yeah, die trying. I love it. This is Pablo Picasso, and known for this quote. Actually, he's not known for this quote, but I like this quote from him on procrastination. Only put off until tomorrow what you are willing to die having left undone. Why did that just kind of hit you a little bit? Yeah. You may not have tomorrow, right? You may not have tomorrow. So do the thing you need to do now. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. 10 years from now is not guaranteed. Do the thing now. Again, so many things I think in my mind that I don't do, and I need to. We all do it. And I like this one. Again, about people who don't take action. Les Brown says, do something today your future self will thank you for. I like that idea. Do the things now that your future self is going to say, that was so wise, Tony. Well done. Like thinking about future self is kind of a cool idea. Future self, Tony, will thank you tomorrow. Don't say Tony, because that's weird. Your future self is going to find this really beautiful. Thank you tomorrow. And I like that it ends with this. I will also write on them my new name. Whoever has ears, let them hear what the Spirit says to the churches. This is George Garrett. George Garrett decided to basically throw off his old name and have a new one. So he legally changed his name. It's a weird name. The dude's weird. That's just how it is. But it's funny to me because his new name, his actual legal name is now Captain Fantastic, faster than Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, Wolverine, the Hulk, and the Flash combined. I had a friend who went into when he became of age, he changed his middle name to Trouble, which I thought was hilarious. But when I heard about George Garrett, I thought, well, that kind of trumps that, doesn't it?
So on his passport, is it Captain Combined then? Is that what?
Yeah.
Apparently, yeah, like the whole thing. See, I have no idea what that passport looks like. Yeah, sign here. Yeah, initial CFF. I like what he said. I like what he said a lot, even though the name thing a little odd. He said, I wanted a name that would remind me of the giant potential and beauty I've grown to understand myself to possess. George didn't cut it anymore. George didn't cut it anymore. Let me go back. What names, what labels have you allowed yourself to have placed on you? Just take a minute. I want you to think about it. I have allowed a lot of names and a lot of labels to be put on me, and I actually took them to heart. I was told I don't belong. I was told I'm not loved. I was told I'm not good enough. I was told I'm a heretic. I was told that what I do is wrong. I was told, again, so many different stories. And I was told that enough that I started to tell myself stories. I started putting words and labels on myself. You can't quite cut it. You're always going to blow it at some point. You're never going to this. And I wonder right now what labels or words you've allowed in. What words, what labels have you allowed in? When something goes awry, when there's pain, when there's brokenness, what words are you allowing to be attached to you? And here's the beautiful thing to me, is there's this really interesting story about Jesus and at his baptism. And it's like the whole thing is renamed. Because it says this, and a voice came from heaven and it says, "You are my son whom I love. With you, I am well pleased. So turn to the person next to you and say, you are my daughter, son, you insert the right thing, whom is loved. No, actually just say, whom I love and I am well pleased. Turn to the person next to you. It might be a little weird at first, but just say it. You are my son, you are my daughter, whom I love, and I'm well pleased.
Man ago said, if a voice inside tells you that you cannot paint, then you must paint,
Right.
and that voice will be silenced.
If the voice inside you tells you you can't paint, then you must paint, and that voice will be silenced. Oh, I love it. If the voice inside you tells you're not loved, then love, and the voice will be silent. If the voice inside tells you you don't belong, help people belong, and belong. The voice will be silenced. Oh, I love it.
Leave your ear on in the meantime.
Leave your ear on in the meantime. I love this idea of a new name. What if I reminded myself when those words and those labels came up during brokenness, frustration, all those things, I reminded myself, I'm loved. I'm loved. I'm accepted. I belong. I can be. What if those are the words I told myself? What if that was the name I gave myself again? What would change for your journey? So that's the city of Philadelphia. You're loved. If you want to protest, if you want to live differently, if you want to live counterculturally, if you want to live to your full potential, there's a lot of ideas there I hope you can live by and start practicing. And at the end of the day, if you can't turn and take on that new name, then it wasn't actually worth it anyways. So I hope that in the end, that new name, that person can just flower. You can live it, be, belong, become. Thanks everyone for listening to all this. Betty's gonna come on up, and Kim's actually gonna share some things too while Betty's getting ready.
Thank you, Tony. I know I need to be reminded often who I was created to be, who I believe I was created to be. And the one that made me, I believe, is one who is full of love, is nonviolent, is always accepting of me even when I'm not accepting myself. So this morning, I just want to thank you, Tony, for reminding me to think the best of myself, not what I have been conditioned to think, maybe by voices around me, by our culture. This morning, I just want to invite you all to participate in a really tangible way. Weekly, we put up kind of where we are with our donations. Money's a tough topic, guys. I don't know. It's something that some of us are taught to hang on to. It can be something that, for me, I may not always want to share. Thinking, well, I could buy that pair of shoes. I want my coffee. But then I stop for a minute. I'll get a email from World Vision where someone has no water. Makes me stop and think, do I need that coffee? When I sit in a community where I sense so much love around me and acceptance, I want to give to that. I want to give something back to that. And I also know that without me giving, without me doing what I can do, whatever that is, this community, it's not going to go forward. It's not. It can't be all on 6 people. It needs to be all of us. So whatever that is that you feel you are able to give today or on an ongoing basis, we would love you for it. We would love you for it. Thank you.
When a musician and Tony talk about what's topic for the week, he's extremely vague. And we kind of got to go with our own gut on, okay, well, what do you mean? Well, this is what I meant. Okay. And so this song that I'm singing next, y'all are, well, if you're from the 90s, I'm a 90s kid. It was huge and popular, and I remember liking it. The jam was cool, but again, didn't really listen to the words. And for some reason, I was drawn to this specific song. I heard it, 20 years ago? And every single word just kind of depicts a lot of, what you said today about getting those voices out of your head. And I tend to listen to a lot of them too. But this chorus is pretty, can I say this, badass? If you want to sing along with me, go for it. If not, remove those words just for a quick second and say how much you love yourself. Because you guys are badass.
Listen as your day unfolds, challenge what the future holds. Try and keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and continue, don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Herald what your mother said, read the books your father read. Try to solve the puzzles in your own sweet time. Some may have more cash than you, others take a different view. My, oh my, yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Time asks no questions, it goes on without you, leaving you behind if you can't stand the pace. The world keeps on spinning, can't stop it if you try to. The best part is danger staring you in the face. Listen as your day unfolds, challenge what the future holds. Try and keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and be counted. Don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be bad. You gotta be bold. You gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard. You gotta be tough. You gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool. You gotta be calm. You gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day.
All right, I had to end with this song. It's been one of those weeks for me, if I could share just personally, just massive, uncontrolled chaos. And this song lately has been a little bit of my mantra because the words are so simple, even though Bublé makes it kind of sexy, I guess, whatever. But there's so much to be said about just really stopping and smelling every flower that you pass by, inhaling that air that is free and around you. And totally sing this with me if you guys know it. Yeah, I'm going to rock out whether you do or not. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. 'Cause it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this whole world is a new world and a bold world for me. Oh, for me. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new life, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new life for me, and I'm feeling, I hope you all are feeling good. Oh, I'm feeling good.
Oh, that was perfect. Oh, we Memorial Day barbecue and pool party. Join us, community, May 18th. This is gonna be so much fun. Hope to see you all there. There's some things to bring, but as we finish, I just want to remind you again: you are loved. You are loved, and you are a child of the divine. Whatever that means to you, to me that means there's a lot of potential in you. I mean, whatever you're going through, don't forget it. That thing, that person that you are, is filled. You are a reflection of the divine. And everything, the story goes with this prodigal son, everything I have is yours. You are loved. Everything I have is yours. The potential is just crazy in the room, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. So Kim, if you want to close us off, are you okay with that? Awesome.
I don't really feel I needed to say anymore. But no, I'll go. You know, one of the things I love to do is pray. Some of you may be uncomfortable with prayer. I don't know where you all sit with it. But we've decided as a community that when we say something, we say, this is what I love to do. And it doesn't have to be something that everybody else loves to do. That's kind of refreshing. So as I close this out today, I'm going to talk to God because I happen to love him. And I know that he loves me. God, thank you for this community. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful because I feel like it's a place that I can just be. So many other places I've gone to, I felt like I've had to do something to belong. And I'm grateful that here I'm invited to just breathe, to laugh, to feel, to care, to touch. I ask as we leave today that you, because I believe you are everywhere. You're in us, you're around us, and there's so much good. I pray that that good would go with us wherever we go, and that people will know that there's something special about their time with us, because they'll feel better. They'll leave taking something special with them. Thank you to the God I love. Amen.
Hey everybody. So for the Memorial Day barbecue and pool party, it's at my parents' house. The RSVP date is actually next Saturday, so that would be May 11th. And also there are Connect cards, there should be, at each table. We'd love for everybody to fill one out, even if you've done it once before. We are updating our email lists, our member lists, and we want to know when your birthday is. Also on the back, there's some optional information. If you'd like to be involved in a life group or any ministries, whether that be bringing breakfast, greeting, whatever your passion is. Okay? So please fill one out. Thank you.
Have a good week, everybody. We're still perfecting that whole like ending thing, so yeah, get up and hug some people, say hi, and if you don't know anyone, say hello.